our net effect of all these toxins in our environment is actually hurting our reproductive organs.
I want to talk with you more, Angeli, too, about the next really important hormone that we associate a lot with sex drive, and that is testosterone. Testosterone for women, right? Let's talk a little bit about that.
I think it's the forgotten hormone for women, because what I teach in my patient population, I say at about 35, progesterone goes down, and we've already reviewed that. About 40, women start saying, oh my gosh, I'm working out just the same and I'm losing my muscle mass. Or they'll say, my husband looks to me more like my brother. I don't want to have sex. Or they
feel more like roommates, right? Roommates versus lovers, right?
Right, exactly. And that's the lower testosterone. Or they'll say, like, my high-powered women, and I have a lot of those, like the lawyers, the trial lawyers, or the business owners, Dr. Akey, I can't make a decision. This is so not like me. And so that's the effect of testosterone. It helps us go, it helps us have lean muscle, it helps us make decisions, and helps us to have a sex drive. And so when it declines, you're experiencing all of that. But I do believe that, as you mentioned, I wrote the book, Fine Tune Your Hormone Symphony. You have to balance the testosterone with the other hormones. You can't just say, let's just increase your testosterone this high with a pellet, for example, because what happens is that it'll disrupt the entire hormone symphony, so that many of the patients I receive who have received pellets elsewhere look like polycystic ovarian syndrome. They look insulin resistant. And
well, explain what that looks like for a second. So they're presenting how, because there is like healthy, physiologic levels, and then there's, way too high. So
polycystic ovarian syndrome, or insulin resistance, looks like you could have acne, you could have dark hairs, you can have irregular, messed up periods, you can have waist gain like apple-shaped, and irritability. And that is when that part of the hormone symphony, when someone's giving them too much testosterone. And there is a trend, actually, to do that in some places here in the United States.
Yeah. So, and physiology affects our behavior. Too much testosterone, novelty-seeking behaviors, right? For that dopamine rush. That could mean daredevil. That could mean irritability, anger. That could mean affairs, right? So we really want to keep that physiology balanced. And whenever, especially when we're deriving our hormones in any way, whether it's what our body's naturally doing or it's what we're supplementing with, we want to keep that in mind. We want healthy, optimal levels for where we're at. And I appreciate you talking about this, because we can have really high doses of testosterone and still have no libido, right?
Absolutely. And it just goes down to this many principles in most human physiology involves the Goldilocks Principle. Not too much, not too little, just right. And that's why it's really important to have someone who knows bioidentical hormone replacement therapy and not just following a formula.
And why do you think there are such low levels of testosterone right now in our population, both men and women? Besides the natural decline as we get older, there's that, but we're seeing it younger.
Yeah, I think our exposome, our net effect of all these toxins in our environment, is actually hurting our reproductive organs. Definitely proven in sperm counts in men, for example. But I think that if you just try to eat really clean, if you read labels on boxes and make sure you're not putting anything in your mouth that you can't pronounce or spell, and just try to eat the way we used to eat back in Laura Ingalls' time, I think that basic
Little House on the Prairie is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, Little House on the
If
Prairie.
you can fish it, hunt it, milk it, grow it, then for the most part, you can eat it. Pick it, peel it, fish it, hunt it, milk it, grow it. Then for the most part, you can eat it. Keto Green, right?
Keto Green, going back to the basics. Exactly. I've been happy to teach Keto Green with your guidance in my own patient population with wonderful success in detoxification. Keto Green plus Mighty Maca, it's a home run.
Game-changing.
Cleaning people's exposome up, detoxification.
And we see like the natural ways to improve our sex drive and libido. So when you're writing your prescription, you're prescribing and for our audience, if you're going to work with bioidentical hormones, work with someone like Dr. Angeli Akey, really has training in customizing and fine tuning your hormones, and also look at what we can do naturally. There's so much we can do naturally to naturally boost our hormones in and of itself, right? Which is even more important than this, than using bioidentical hormones. So do you want to talk about some of those natural things? And I wish I could keep you on the couch forever.
I wanted to just share with you a trick I've developed to differentiate low sex drive secondary to too much stress or survival mode versus low sex drive secondary to a hormone imbalance. Do you want me to share it with you? It's worked really well for 20 years.
Absolutely.
So I have a classic, usually my classic patient is late 40s, a woman who says, I just don't want sex, but my husband wants a lot of sex. What do I do? And, you take a history, and her kids are in middle school, high school. She runs her business. She rarely takes time for herself. So I think she's in survival mode, but yet I know her hormones are off. So I say, okay, you and your husband carve out a 4-day weekend. Go to Cedar Key, which is really easy, close to my hometown. It's an hour away. Take a 4-day weekend and just stop your internet, stop your phone, stop your job, and just spend time with each other. And just start cuddling on day one, just to get the oxytocin and the cortisol down, because as you said, oxytocin combats cortisol. Sleep in, relax, eat super clean, enjoy each other's company, and just start connecting again and get away from your stress. And honestly, by Sunday evening, if you haven't had sex, then come back and talk to me, and I'll do the hormone. I'll balance your hormones. And I said, make sure you take Monday morning off, because usually Monday mornings is so stressful. Oh my gosh, I have to run the rat race again, get out of bed. So I said, Monday morning, you just relax and go home. And I'm telling you, that little trick is really helpful for me to figure out if it's hormones or is it survival mode. I mean, and oftentimes it's a combination of both, but usually if they've had great sex by Sunday night, I know that's not going to be as hard for me to make things better. It's stress management. Start doing yoga twice a day, pray the Holy Rosary 17 minutes twice a day, or do something to decrease your cortisol, exercise, get rid of the junk in your life. And honestly, the COVID-19 pandemic has been good for a lot of women, because they've had to be benched at home and not doing all this travel and doing everything else, so that they do have more time for this. I found that a lot, actually, in my women, that it's given them permission to spend time with their family and relax at home, working remotely.
And to feel again at home in our body. And I think you're right, that 4-day window, it sometimes takes 72 hours just to break that cycle. And so taking that 4-day when you can, if not create it, and at least, creating time on your weekends, creating time for extended foreplay, right? Extended foreplay. That's our natural, we're naturally designed to use foreplay to increase our hormones. And this is where patients would come in. That was first very interesting. And they would say, Dr. Anna, I never want to initiate sex, but I'm okay once I get started. Once we get started, then I'm into it. And that's that normal decreasing cortisol, increasing oxytocin, dopamine. I mean, we're really igniting our sexual hormones at that point. It takes time to relax and get in that state, but that is critical to have that time. So that is great advice for all of us. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel here and get those notifications, and comment below. Let me know your thoughts, what you loved, and what your action step is.